Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. You know how I've said many times in the past, maybe you've heard me say this, maybe you haven't, that the red light is the greatest cure for anything. Like you just put the camera on, turn the microphone on, the little red light goes on, then all of a sudden you feel better. Well, unfortunately, little Toots came down with the flu. She's okay. She's on the she's trying to get through the worst of it and all that. But then as parents, we got to play the game of who gets it next. Okay. And sure enough, I'm hanging out with her yesterday. She's chilling on the sofa watching Bluey, I think it was. And I'm like, I start to feel that little thing you get in like the back of your throat. And you're like, what the hell? Oh, no. And then my wife calls me and she goes, I am sick as hell. And I go, oh, I'm on my way. So I'm going to try to power through as much as I can today. Basically, I was like, should I just put up a sign or the thumbnail is just like, dude, I'm out. Can't do it today. But I'm going to try to push through. I'm going to try to limit the coughs into the microphone as much as possible. And, well, right now it feels like the red light's working a little bit. Okay. So we're going to get into that. And we're not going to get into that. That's that. But I had to do a show today for two reasons. One, Philadelphia Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. Kellen Moore supposedly got interviewed last night as the Saints flew into town to talk to him. All right. And that's fine. It's 2 weeks. I would love him to be concentrated. I still think it's the stupid rule the NFL has where you're supposed to be getting ready for, the biggest game of your life. And, oh, by the way, if you're Kellen Moore, why would you agree to anything now? If you win a Super Bowl and you have that on your resume, that's pretty damn good. Get a little bit more money. Get a little bit more of that money. One of the things I always remember my old friend Hugh Douglas telling me is, if you win a Super Bowl, it's like your special teams coordinator could get a head coaching job. Like everybody is up for head coaching. Your backup quarterback, if they're Eld, could get a job as a head coach in the NFL. You were on a team that won a Super Bowl? Oh, yeah. So I find that fascinating. So I don't know why he'd do it now, but they got 2 weeks to prepare. So that's that. All right. The other reason is Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, got asked a question yesterday at their introductory press conference for Brian Schottenheimer. And the question was basically, how could you be more like the Eagles? Now, I read the tweet from the gentleman, Patrick Walker. And he's there. He's asking the question to Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones and Brian Schottenheimer. And I read the tweet, and the tweet was like, I respectfully pressed on how they could learn from a rival like the Eagles. When I read the tweet, I went, this is clickbait. There is no way in hell that somebody asked this. And then I clicked on Patrick Walker's name on X, whatever, and it said Dallas Cowboys. I'm like, does he write for the Dallas Cowboys? Because if so, this makes it so much better, and he's probably out of a job already. But anyway, he asked the question, and they answered it in the affirmative. Now, they threw in other names. We'll let you hear Stephen Jones. We'll let you hear Jerry Jones. We'll let you hear Patrick as well ask the question. But I'm like, this is literally the greatest thing ever. Like, literally, you have the Dallas Cowboys embarrassing their fans through this season and then embarrassing their fans by being like, yeah, maybe we could be more like the Eagles. What are they doing? I'd like to be like the Eagles. I thought a Super Bowl trip was as good as it gets. A Super Bowl trip, well, winning, obviously, but a Super Bowl trip and the Cowboys saying, we should be more like the Eagles. Oh, man, this is the greatest. This is just, might be the greatest 24-hour stretch, non-Super Bowl winning yet in Philadelphia Eagles history. So we'll get into that conversation. All that and more on today's show. I think I'm trying to battle through as much as possible. Here's basically how I feel when I got out of bed this morning. Ugh. Here's how I didn't feel when I got out of bed this morning.
Well, that's pretty dope.
Thank you very much. All right, let's get into this. First, first the question. I'll let you hear the complete question. I'll let you hear most of the answer from Stephen Jones when they were asked how they can be more like the Cowboys.
From a personnel and roster building standpoint, salary cap management as well for Jerry and Stephen, you guys talk about learning some hard lessons, especially from 2024, depth issues once you guys were ravaged by injury. Just as far as salary cap management goes, free agency and the like, looking in the mirror is one way that you can learn things. Another way is to look at what your opponents and enemies are doing and try to kind of take from their strategies. When you look at a team like the Eagles, for example, do you feel there's anything that you guys can kind of take from their strategies, seeing as they handle free agency a certain way and they're back in the Super Bowl this year, that kind of could work for the Cowboys going forward?
Yeah, I think you certainly look at that. I think you look at your competitors in your conference, what it's going to take to have success, whether that's a 49er team or whether that's an Eagle team. Obviously, the 49ers, had the injury bug situation, and in this salary cap era, if that injury bug hits you hard enough, it's it can be difficult to overcome.
And nothing. What's the meme of Kermit sipping the tea? Just like, I'm just going to sip my tea as you guys light yourselves on fire. That's a shame. It was, I was amazed. I was absolutely amazed. Do you know what you've done to your fan base already? Now, look, I am not the one that is going to take up representation for the Dallas Cowboy fan base and how their rights have been violated. Okay. As football fans. But what I will do is be like, I will bask in this as someone who loves it when the Philadelphia Eagles win football games. And this, oh man, is just a beautiful, beautiful pound of sugar and a cherry on top, baby. Now, what about the big guy, Jerry Jones? I'm sure he had some words of wisdom regarding how the Cowboys are going to deal with that salary cap and try to be more like Howie Roseman, try to be more like the Philadelphia Eagles, their division rival, who are going to their second Super Bowl in 3 years. Not too bad. Jerry Jones, how are you going to be more like the Eagles?
When I bought the Cowboys, several of your counterparts rode over with me on this little jet airplane, rode over to my home in Little Rock, Arkansas. And we got off the plane and rolled up there to pick us up was a 5-year-old dirty Ford Bronco. And they got off and said, this doesn't make a lick of sense. You just bought the Cowboys and you're flying a jet and you drive up here in a 5-year-old dirty Bronco. And I said, it makes perfect sense. You can't have it all.
How about one thing? Can you have one thing? How about one thing? Just one thing? How about one thing? Nope, can't have that. Anyway, let me tell you about a Bronco I earned. Okay. What was that, Jerry? Was he going into Aesop's Fables? What the hell was that? Am I alone here in just enjoying the Dallas Cowboys taking any venom? Because this is what plays out in my head. You're somewhere, not your regular home territory. Maybe you're on a business trip. Maybe you're going to Dallas for an Eagles-Cowboys game. I don't know. Maybe you're somewhere and there's a person that has got the Cowboys stuff on, and maybe you got your Eagles pullover on or something like that. And the Eagles, huh? It's like, yeah, you're damn right, the Eagles, huh? How about them birds? And they go, all right, well, how about that? Hey, the Cowboys have 5 Super Bowls in a row. It's like, oh, that's adorable. Like, those were a long, long time ago. Were you even alive at that moment? Plus, your owner, your whole front office is trying to take notes on how to be as good as the Philadelphia Eagles. That must suck. Could you imagine if this was reversed? Could you imagine if Jerry Jones, or excuse me, if Jeffrey, God forbid, if Jeffrey Lurie looked at they did a press conference, his end of the year press conference, and he was like, we just got to be more like the Dallas Cowboys. Do you understand that the people's heads would be just popping off their shoulders with anger? It would be like a geyser is what it would be. It'd be Old Faithful of rage is what it would be. So I'm glad that's not the way it goes. I'm glad this is the way it goes. Any Cowboys fans, this is what the Cowboys gave you yesterday, Philadelphia, aside from, you already have that Super Bowl trip in your back pocket. Here's what else goes with that. Any Cowboys fan that tries to talk trash to you, just let them know that Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones think it's in the Cowboys' best interests to learn from the Philadelphia Eagles. We are your daddies. We are your professors. Deuces. And one more thing. Cowboys suck. That was fun. That was a good time. But, Jeffrey Lurie isn't perfect. And who's really not perfect is that Josh Harris fella, right? Jeffrey Lurie, I guess, is taking a page and learning from Josh Harris, and that he, according to Bill Simmons, wants to buy the Boston Celtics. Jeffrey Lurie gave us a Super Bowl. Jeffrey Lurie has he's been the owner of the only teams that go to Super Bowls. The other time that the Eagles had to run anything close like this was 1948, 1949 when they won back-to-back NFL championships. And then 11 years later, with Chuck Bednarik, won in 1960, and the great Tommy McDonald. That stretch right there of 12 years? That was the greatest stretch. That really was the greatest stretch in Philadelphia Eagles history. 3 championships in 12 years. That's pretty damn good. This is the best stretch the Eagles have had since then. And I know they've been to conference championship games, but you know what happens at the conference championship game more often than not? They lose. You know what happens when Jalen Hurts gets into a conference championship, though? You know what happens when Nick Sirianni gets into a conference championship? They win. And that's pretty awesome. As a matter of fact, the best way to describe that would be...
Well, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, it is pretty dope, Nick. So in all this, Jeffrey Lurie wants to, according to Bill Simmons, buy the Boston Celtics. I know some people might have a take on this where, hey, he gave us a Super Bowl. I'm like, yeah, I just keep doing that. He keeps doing that. I don't care what the hell else he does. But there is still something I don't like about the idea of the guy that has final say on one of my franchises rooting for a franchise that I hate. And I hate the Boston Celtics. Now, keep in mind, this is a sports show, so this is all in the context of sports hate, but I hate sports hate. The Boston Celtics. And here we are. He's going to invest in the Boston Celtics, potentially buy the Boston Celtics, and be extremely happy every time they buy the Sixers, or every time they beat the Sixers. And is this going to happen in a way of Josh Harris, where Josh Harris, because he owns the 76ers, they didn't tweet out, hey, go Birds, or Super Bowl bound Birds, because this is, you know, when the common argument behind whether or not the Eagles, or whether or not anyone should, an owner should buy a rival team, like Josh Harris bought the Devils and then later bought Washington. By the way, go Flyers, beating the Devils last night. I was always told it's not a conflict of interest. Every other sports organization, now maybe they did it overnight. I doubt it. I think they would just not want to continue to draw attention to it. But I thought the teams supported each other enough to the point where they would at least throw out a congratulations. And unfortunately, because the owner of the 76ers is also the owner of the Washington Commanders, they did not tweet out anything. And I'm just going to go ahead. You know, I didn't check right when I woke up this morning. If there's anything about the Sixers, it's that they cower to pressure. I'm not even talking about on the court, by the way. I'm talking about, let's see, when Josh Harris was the first to cut salaries and wages during the pandemic and then reversed when they invested in Sam Hinkie and then reversed because Adam Silver, dad, called him and said, you knock it off. And then most recently when they dragged the city of Philadelphia through the mud for 2 years, now it seems more like threatening a downtown stadium, getting approval only for Comcast Spectacor to be like, all right, we're calling dad. And they called their partner, Adam Silver, and Adam Silver spanked Josh Harris. You're welcome for that mental image. And said, get back with your brother. You guys are living in the same house. Find a way. Draw a line down the middle of the court. Or ice, whatever. That's pretty interesting to me. And now he has been, I guess, nope, still nothing. Nope, I guess, in the rare occasion, he stuck to his guns, and he did not allow the Sixers to tweet out a congratulations or post congratulations. And come to think of it, you know, if you're a Commanders fan, which, whatever, that's probably in your best interest as their owner, but we were your first, Josh Harris. We were the guys that let you in the door. And unfortunately, can't congratulate the most popular team in the city, the king in this city, really, who are on their journey to the Super Bowl. How about that? What a night. So love to get your reaction on all that. And also, one of the things I did not get into yesterday, and I went back in and I watched the tape on this for A.J. Brown. And A.J. Brown said, now I'm fading. A.J. Brown said that he really enjoyed blocking. And one of the things that I was looking at in that game, knowing that the Eagles were still going to try to run the football as much, was what were the wide receivers doing? And Devontae Smith certainly got his when it came to blocking. Dallas Goedert got his when it came to blocking. The offensive line was just putting people on their ass. And A.J. Brown, I believe it was on the first run, the 60-yard run by Saquon Barkley. A.J. Brown was throwing people around left and right. And after the game, Ashlyn Sullivan caught up with him in his locker where he was asked about, clearing the path for Saquon.
I'm so proud. I literally told him, I didn't even know he did all that the first play. I ended up taking out like 3 people on the first play of the game. And I was just like literally laying on my back because I hit my head. And I was trying to make sure I was okay. And I just heard the crowd cheering. And, he definitely set the tone. I think that play came out and told those guys, it's going to be a long day. So congrats.
One of the things I absolutely love about this team is it really is selfless. And I know this is one of the things that Nick Sirianni talked about when it came to Jalen Hurts. And he talked about the values about love and trust and selflessness and all that. And he talked about that yesterday when he was talking about Jalen Hurts' selflessness. But really everybody on this team, I mean, it's not just Jalen Hurts that is not, it's throwing a ridiculous low amount of passes throughout this season. The lowest in his career since he was a full-time starter. It's not just that. It's the fact that A.J. Brown's numbers are down. Still 1,000 yards. That's great. He also missed a couple games in there. They still found a way to, excuse me one second. Still found a way to get him over 1,000 yards this year and still made him one of the best wide receivers in the NFL when it came to average yards per reception. There were some questions about him after the Panthers game, obviously, where he talked about the passing game needing some help. He's been asked throughout the season by the reporters about his numbers being down and targets being down and all that. And all the while, with the one exception of just referencing the passing game needing work, which is an honest take. I still wish he played it like he played it last year. If you had nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. And this is someone who would love to get a little bit of that drama mixed in there. But this team was on such a roll, and they still won that game. And Jalen Hurts still had 3 touchdowns in that game, in a game where he supposedly sucked, but specifically in the passing game, everything was off. And after that game, he said, yeah, we got to work on passing. Would I have liked it for him to just clamp it like he did last year and take a page out of his own book? If I got nothing nice to say, then don't say it at all. Absolutely, I would have loved that. But he wasn't lying. And he also wasn't lying about just being Jalen. He wasn't lying about just the receivers. He wasn't lying about the offensive line. He wasn't lying about Kellen Moore. That's what he was talking about when he made that comment. That might have been what he said. But in the games, this guy has been all in on running the football. The hustle has been there. And people want to talk about him being a prima donna. Let me ask you this. And I have defended the only thing he did that I really didn't like this year was the book. And he explained it, and that's fine. It's not something I'm still raging about or anything like that. But I'm like, just concentrate on the game. Now, whatever you need to concentrate or to get in the right mental state, I guess, but I still just didn't like. But one of the things I've never called him is a diva. And I've defended him more than most. And somebody said to me, I think I referenced this before. Somebody referenced to me, why don't you talk about or stop talking about A.J. Brown? It shows who you really are. And I'm like, what the hell? An opinion on a receiver shows who I really am? Okay. Well, if anything, and again, he's not, nor do I want, but if anything, he owes me a thank you. How about that? I wasn't in a good mood when I answered this comment. And I said, I have not called him a diva one time. And for anyone that wants to label him a diva or a problem, has there been a time this year? Has there been a time where A.J. Brown was on the field lining up lackadaisically? Has there been a time on the field where he breaks the huddle and mopes to his spot? No. Has there been a highlight package or really a low light package of him being a huge problem on the field and not giving it 100% between the white lines? No. The worst thing we've seen from A.J. Brown is the beginning of last year when you saw him on the sidelines talking about, he's looking upset and everyone's like, oh, he's pissed about his targets. He's pissed about his targets. I'm like, we really don't know what he's pissed about. And then later in the week, he was like, I know everyone's going to ask me. I'm just going to let you know it's not about targets. This guy has been a model teammate. And he's one of the huge reasons the Eagles are going back to the Super Bowl. He was one of the huge reasons the Eagles went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. And he's a huge reason the Eagles are going back to the Super Bowl now. There hasn't been that moment. Has there been some things he said or done on the bench or in the locker room? Sure. But when he's out there between the white lines, you tell me when he's been a diva, because I haven't seen it. So listening to him talk about making blocks and blocking for Saquon, and listening throughout the season of reporters constantly, or just being asked in general about, hey, your targets are down. What do you think about that? And he's just like, even smiling. I think it was before the Rams game. Just smiling. You ain't going to get me. You ain't going to get me. All year, you guys have been trying to get me on this. You ain't going to get me. If the run game's working, give it to Superman. Just like he said in the Ravens game. Let your cape out. Pretty much a model citizen, but certainly not a diva. And listening to talk about his blocking throughout the year and how good it's been, honestly. I mean, he's a big dude. I mean, he's swole Batman, let's not forget. That's the guy I want. That's the guy I want at the wide receiver spot. Somebody that can throw his weight around, and somebody that can make that catch down the sideline. Somebody can rough it up a little bit with Marshawn Lattimore like they did in this game, in the NFC Championship game. How great was that? I thought for sure that Lattimore was going to, or that A.J. Brown was going to get a misconduct as well. Or what do you call it? Unnecessary roughness as well. But he didn't. As I said in our green room with Gunner and Seth Joyner, I said, it's not his fault that he can remove a helmet better than Lattimore could. Lattimore tried to remove his helmet, meaning AJ's helmet, and he failed at that too. That's a shame. So there you go. I'm going to go to the chat check early today because I am definitely leaking gasoline. I feel like crap. Oh, why not? Why don't you check that too? Yeah, I checked the X account too. Nothing. Let me tell you about the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code FARZI, get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Want to go to the game? Want to go to the concert? Want to go to the comedy show? Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code FARZI on the Game Time app. Also, don't forget to check out Game Time Picks, which allows you to filter out all the fluff on the Game Time app, so you can see the best seats at the best prices on the Game Time app. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code FARZI, get $20 off your first purchase on that Game Time app. Terms apply. What time is it? Game time. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. How about our friends at Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Check out Brett's amazing inventory at SkyMotorcars.com. Oh, one more. Well, I haven't even talked about the Super Bowl. I've referenced it, but I haven't talked about it. Something I found interesting. So, if you guys remember last year, so 59, and I think it was 160. Last year, people were talking about point differential and how much that mattered. To me, it doesn't matter all that much, but it mattered to me last year because I thought it was very telling of the Eagles' season, the season that they had. And this is last year I'm talking about. And last year, what the Eagles did was be a +5. Despite 11 wins, they were a +5 in turnover differential. +5. Oh, geez. Point differential. Sorry. They were +5 last year in point differential. The Kansas City Chiefs this year, if you look through their schedule, few and far between did they really dominate games. They finished, I think, at +59 in point differential. They averaged 4 points in wins. They averaged 4 points of differential over their opponents in this season. When the Eagles were collapsing at the end of last year, despite how they played in the beginning of the season, the Eagles were at 2.2 points per differential in victories. These are two teams that haven't dominated teams. They've won. They've found a way to win. And they won. They did a lot of that, obviously. But they didn't dominate. Those are teams that always find ways to win. And Patrick Mahomes is obviously, I've been talking a lot about Saquon being the force in the NFL behind this offensive line. If you're just going with one single person and not combining two things, well, then Patrick Mahomes is pretty damn good. I would call him a force in his own right. But you look at how they start the season. They win by 7 against the Ravens. They win by 1 against the Bengals. They win by 5 against the Falcons. A touchdown over the Chargers. They actually win by more than 10, by 13 against the Saints. They win by 10 against the San Francisco 49ers, 7 against the Raiders, 6 against Tampa, 2 against Denver. They lose to the Buffalo Bills in the regular season. 3 points to Carolina, 2 points to the Raiders again, 2 points to the Chargers again. Cleveland, they wall up 21-7, so that's another 10-point victory. They won 29-0 against the Steelers. They certainly blew that one out, and then they lost their last game of the season with Carson Wentz. What a bunch of idiots. 38-0. So you're looking at 3 wins this season by 10 or more points. The Eagles in 2023, they won 2 games by 10 or more points. So very similar in that regard. A huge, huge difference between all this. And you're probably saying this to yourself already, but what about the defense? Oh, baby. Eagles defense sucked last year. This year, the Kansas City Chiefs defense, pretty damn good. 8th best versus the run, 18th best versus the pass, 4th best in points allowed per game. The Eagles last year, ranking in run suck, passing suck, points per game suck. Oh my God, look at that. According to the Elias Sports Bureau, they suck. So that's the big difference. But when it comes to really putting teams away and blowing a team out, I mean, even look at this game against the Bills. Right down to the wire. 1 catch, and it's a totally different ball game. 1 call, and it's a totally different ball game. I have to do a hit later in the week with Kansas City radio guys that I talk to usually for Eagles and Chiefs matchups. Talked to them last Super Bowl. I talked to them last year when they played on that Monday night game. And I think my first question is going to be like, how much money have you guys raised to donate to the officials' retirement fund? But I know, strong opener, right? I don't know. But it's pretty remarkable how on the overall side of things, how much the Chiefs reminded me of last year's Eagles. Oh, and the other thing is they didn't have an epic collapse. That's what it had. And the other thing is this Philadelphia Eagles team beat the crap out of a Washington Commanders team that I don't think took anything lightly. I really don't think that they looked at that Lions game like, yeah, we beat the Lions. This is our Super Bowl. Like, no, of course not. And my major point to that is Dan Quinn oversaw the greatest Super Bowl collapse in history when they were up against the Patriots as the Falcons head coach. He's not taking anything for granted. There is no moment of, okay, guys, that's it. All right, let's wrap it up. And of course, he's not going to be that blatant and say that. But as a head coach, you're kind of responsible for the team's overall production and the team's overall focus above it all. And one thing I really got to give credit to, and I loved seeing the video of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Nick Sirianni on the sidelines after the NFC Championship game with basically Nick holding him as he's, I don't know, bawling his eyes out about how happy he is to go back to a Super Bowl with the Eagles. And then he quote tweeted that video and just said, you guys weren't there when I got the call that I'd be coming back to Philadelphia, and how much he didn't say this in the tweet, but he loves Nick Sirianni. And he's been one of the first people to defend Nick Sirianni time and time again whenever there's criticism thrown his way. And this is a special thing. It's a special thing. So if you're gonna expect anybody to be losing focus in this matchup, it ain't gonna be the Philadelphia Eagles. And they rise to every single occasion. Now the Chiefs have too. They've won a boatload of football games this year. They lost 2 football games, one where the starters were actually playing. So that's pretty special too. But the Eagles are not going to be scared of anybody. And they definitely have the taste of blood in their mouths when it comes to 2 years ago in the Super Bowl. 3 years ago now, excuse me. Very much looking forward to a week from Sunday. All right, let's get to the chat check and see how you wonderful people are doing on this fine day. Real quick, just before I get to that, I gotta handle some business. In the meantime, here is Nick Sirianni taking in the locker room scene on Sunday night.
I just thought about the next game. To be quite honest with you, it's like this is a great feeling. We've had this feeling before, and it just makes you hungrier. Just like the more hungry or hungrier, huh? Okay. It just makes you more hungry. I'm gonna go with more hungry. It just makes you more hungry to go there and play in this game again. And we're gonna have to, regardless of the opponent, we're gonna have to play a really good game to be able to reach our goals.
How great would it be to beat the Kansas City Chiefs? How great would it be? April. Good morning, April. John Cheeseborough. What's up, John? Jeez. Sean Kilrain, hello. April saying hi to Sean. Or John saying hi to April and Sean. That's nice. Gee. There it is. Yes. April, good morning. Good morning. Oh, everyone's saying good morning. Sean Gillespie, good morning. Feels good to be a fan of the once again NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles. Revenge tour is on. Let's go. Stephen Jones has tried to talk his dad out of a lot, but he may just be as bad in some aspects, some respects. Yep. Mint tea, lemon, honey, a little whiskey. Fix you right up. I hope so. Thanks, April. Appreciate that. I'll just start chugging Sambuca. How about that? Hopefully Stephen Jones is a perfect copy of his dad. Right, Sean? John Cheeseborough. Cowboys fans may have been able to live with Kellen Moore, who I think gets the Saints job. Yeah, they were, again, the Saints flew here. When I saw in-person interview, I went, oh, come on. And then I saw that they were flying here, which is the best of a bad world. I said, overall, it's just stupid. It's just stupid. I hate that players, and now look, I understand you can interview a lot of other people, and I get it, but to me, if players can't go anywhere, then coaches shouldn't be able to go anywhere, at least sign on with anybody else, or at least agree to terms with anybody else if they're still coaching in the playoffs. Terrible message to send your fans. So glad I don't have Sean Gillespie. There you go. I hope Jerry lives another 50 years. Well, I mean, I think he gets another 10 years. He gets 10 years younger every time he gets a new face, but it's not a good face. Anyway, Luke Skylifter, blessings to you and your family. Wishing you a speedy recovery. Thank you very much. Flu game, Farsi, Super Bowl edition. That's great. Just like Jordan. It was food poisoning. It was food poisoning. People say there's a lot of rumors out there. It was food poisoning. That's my dead-on Michael Jordan impression. I have a kid. I have 2 kids. My son had it a month ago when we had to cancel 7 fish, which was heartbreaking. And then, Lil Toots started coughing on Sunday, I'm told, because I wasn't here. And, then yesterday she just woke up with a fever. I was coming back from Fox, and my wife, said she's got 101 fever, and she's coughing a lot, and she really feels warm. All right, that's that. So I actually had to administer the test, the nose swab for like the flu and COVID and whatever. There's one more on there maybe. And I actually had to do this. I'm like, someone with a communications degree should not be doing this, but whatever. And then like right away it came up that she had the flu. Fortunately, just the flu. Sean Kilrain, hello. William Robinson, what's popping? Dakota Warren, hello. Everyone I know has been sick, Farzi. Get well soon. Thanks. I need 2 days. I'm usually a 2-day guy. Just so happens that the Eagles are in the Super Bowl, and that show that I work on with Greg Murphy and Wes Hall with Rotfeld Productions, Greatest Sports Legends Then and Now. Of course, we have table reads this week. 3 out of the 5 days this week, we got table reads, and I feel like crap. Sean Kilrain, hello again. Jalen Hurts has more Super Bowl appearances than Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. So help me God, if there is one list that has Justin Herbert ranked above Jalen Hurts. So help me God. All these quarterbacks combined. That's great. William, Farzi. You're correcting that. Yeah, I get you. I get you. This ain't no novel. You know what I mean? This ain't no term paper. Get this. The Eagles had 7 rushing touchdowns in the NFC Championship. The Cowboys had 6 all season. Wow, that sucks. I can understand why they'd want to be more like the Eagles. Sean Kilrain, thanks for having me on the Sully Squad yesterday. That was a good time. Always a good time catching up with you guys. Eagles eliminated Sean Desai and Brian Johnson in back-to-back playoff games. How about that? Sean Gillespie, Jerry Jones might offer Howie a new yacht as a signing bonus, so I will only joke so far. That's funny. Why Niners? Why? By the way, if he went to the Cowboys, I think Jeffrey Lurie would say, I'll buy you a yacht in Boston. Go out on the Charles River. I actually like Boston. I haven't been to Boston in a minute. I like visiting Boston. I couldn't live in Boston. Boston to me is like Philly, except in Philly, like a lot of times we can, break balls with our friends. We can, break stones and, bust chops and all that stuff. And it's funny. In Boston, it's like, oh, you think you're better than me? I was like, whoa, dude, hey. I've made friends that are from Boston, not in Boston. Like in my travels, like when I was traveling a lot, there were people on the crew from Boston, and we were awesome. When we get to Boston, it would be a totally different vibe. Oh, you think, not that they would say that to me because they knew I was just joking around, but I hear them say it to other people. Like, you would think you're better than me? I love it's my favorite phrase in any Boston movie. Oh my God. You think you're better than me? Slightly. I kid. immediate roast is Jalen wasn't even born last time the Cowboys won. There you go. That's better than the last time you won, you were on VHS. Chuck Hutton, what's going on? My catchphrase is forever appropriate. Flush twice. It's a long way to Dallas. Chuck, that's beautiful. Put that on a t-shirt, dude. Dallas sucks. Thank you. Jerry Jones. Long live Jerry Jones. Thank you, Wine Niners Wine. How about that story of what's the dude's name? He used to own the Commanders forever, but sucked and got in that whole sexual harassment thing like an idiot. Daniel Snyder. I love that one of his friends leaked out that he hates that the Commanders went to the NFC Championship game. That brought me joy for some reason. I just think the guy's Look, I'm glad the Commanders, Washington Redskins, the Washington football team have sucked for as long as they have. But I do feel for some of their fans. Tate Jeffries, because, I mean, look, nobody would want that. I have no feelings, Tate Jeffries, unrelated to how Sixers run. Jeff has been here enough and does enough not being from here. Okay, fair enough. Careless move by Sixers management, says Neil. Sean Kilmer, Josh Harris is petty for not letting the 76ers congratulate the Eagles. Hope Laurie does buy the Celtics. It would be a big bleep you to Harris. Love it. Ooh, wait a minute, Sean. I didn't think about it like that. So now Jeffrey Lurie has the chance to beat Josh Harris twice. I like it. No, I don't, because that means the Sixers lose. But if the Sixers are, no, don't like it. Still don't like it. John Cheeser, at this point, I'd rather the Sixers not post anything. Yeah, damn right. Stay out of it. You didn't do anything initially? Bugger off. John Cheeseburger, I hope Farzi feels better. Thank you. But I also hope Josh Harris sits next to Skip Bayless fan whenever he shows up at a game. That's great. Lisa Wicks, hello. Good morning from Phoenix. Hello from Phoenix. Wait, what? Spell Philly Sirianni. F-L-E-E-L-G. That's great. That was funny. And, credit to the mayor for having fun with it. Oh, norovirus. That sucks. She thought she had food poisoning. Yeah. Dunner. Welcome to the party, pal. Blaine. Hello, Blaine. Jerry Jones is the way of this. There you go. If Laurie buys the Celtics, then he will be a loser in my book. I hope so. Washington coordinator, they're up 55. If we're going to hit him like a running back. Oh, really? I was hoping you would try to hit him like a ballerina. Thank you, Yum 9 Slim. Dakota, sell them to Jeffrey and leave town for good. That's funny. make Josh Harris sell the Sixers. Yeah, I want him to. I've gone through the list before. I can't now, but I went through the list before of how much he sucks. And I hate him owning the Sixers. And now a piece of Comcast bet. No thanks, dude. No thanks. Hey, Morning Rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Hey, speaking of the 76ers, Joel Embiid out. Paul George out. He's got a boo-boo on his pinky. Joel Embiid is Joel Embiid. And the 10-9-8 76ers are back at it tonight against the LA Lakers. 12 hours from now on TNT. LeBron James in the house. Sixers are 4.5-point underdogs in this one. I want Max to drop 50 tonight. Let's go Tyrese Maxey. Max is going to drop 50 tonight. And I mentioned it already. Nobody had to remind me. Your Philadelphia Flyers came up last night in this first game of a home against the Devils. They were in South Philly last night. Samuel Urson in the net making saves. 31 saves on the evening. How about that? Garnett Hathaway, a goal for the Flyers last night in their 4-2 victory over the Devils. Devils are now 28-18-6 on the season. The Flyers 23-22-6 on the year. Other Flyer goals. Scott Lawton lit the lamp. Still love saying that. Bobby Brink, Joel Farabee. That's it. Rasmus Ristolainen, 2 assists. TK had 2 assists as well. There you go, hon. There you go. Let's go Flyers. They play tonight? Is tonight a doubleheader? Flyers, Devils, Sixers, Lakers, or are they tomorrow night? They're tomorrow night. They play the Devils tomorrow night. That came on TNT as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I still have that up. That's great. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You guys are great as per usual. Appreciate you guys letting me attempt to power through this. I do appreciate that greatly. There we go. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your night. I'm Mark Farzetta. I hope to bounce back with 100% health tomorrow. I battled through. All right. Which,
Well, that's pretty dope.
Thank you very much, Nick. Have a great rest of your day. And why not while we're at it? Bet you didn't know that clip was 11 seconds of Vic Fangio making a meatball, huh? Anyway, I wish they would when he said that the Darius Slay is like a strong Italian Dago Red, fellow Italian American here. I was hoping somebody was going to ask him, how do you make your meatball? Is it veal pork and beef or something exotic that I haven't heard of yet? Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name's Mark Farzetta. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. See you. Bye. Ugh. Literally hit the wrong button there. That wasn't intentional, but it's always funny. See you guys later.